Hi, how are you guys doing today? Great. I was wondering if I could talk to you guys for a minute about the possible partnership with Society for New Americans. Have you guys heard about that? You have? Awesome. So, what do you know about it? Have you heard that it's all about being culturally competent and, what that actually means? No? Okay, so let me give you some information if you don't mind. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Stacy Randall, and I'm one of the managers here at Spokes of Hope Worldwide. And because I have some experience with cultural competence based on previous places that I've worked, Mr. Gears has asked me to lead the effort in the partnership between Spokes of Hope and Society for New Americas. Oh, what was the experience I had? Well, at a previous company that I worked for, I was a manager for a gentleman who had limited sight. And it was very important for me to learn to treat him just like I would any of my other direct reports and not treat him any differently just because he was less sighted than you and I might be. The partnership, of course, is very important to both of our companies. It will allow Spokes of Hope Worldwide to branch into the area of globalization, and it will allow SNA to accomplish their mission of increasing access to education within its different cultural communities. What is it about? Oh, well, our main focus in making sure that this partnership is successful is to make sure that everyone is culturally competent and aware. Right, that's exactly what it means. Being culturally competent means understanding the different cultures, beliefs, and values of those that you're doing business with. So for us, it means understanding the values of our new partners at I'm sorry, at Society for New Americans. I just have so many things going on in my head. I'm so excited about this project. So I was reading up on it. If you have a few minutes, I'd like to give you some information. And I was reading an article by Dugan from 2011 where Dugan stated that it's important to develop the skill of creating cross-cultural relationships. So what that means is that creating cross-cultural relationships or relationships with people of different cultures is the responsibility of everyone at the company. Yep, that means it's your responsibility as well. So we all share an equal role and we must make a conscious effort to work towards that goal. So, to enable effective cross cultural communication, the one thing that I do want to point out so that if you do run into someone in the hallway, you'll know how to deal with it. It's important to focus on the other person when you're building this new business relationship. So, don't think so much about the way you do things, but try and have an open mind and learn about the way they do things. How do you do that? Well, one way that you can do that is by reflecting on your own experiences. Think back on a time when you had to deal with someone new and it involved getting a better understanding of them first. What did you do to make sure that you could communicate with them? Mhm. Those are some good ideas. One thing, excuse me, that I always do is to think about the different verbal and nonverbal communication. It's very important to think about different signs and things of nonverbal communication where someone is giving you a clear indication of how they're feeling. Maybe they're not actually saying anything. It's also important to understand that different things that you may do in your own nonverbal communication might mean something different to this new person that you're speaking with. For example, hand gestures. Hand gestures mean different things depending on the country that you're in. A simple thumbs up in the USA, a thumbs up. That's a good thing. That's a good sign, very universal, and everybody knows it. But in different countries, it's actually a sign of disrespect. So be mindful of what you do with your hands because those different hand gestures can actually be offending the person you're speaking with, even though that's not your intent. One way that you can avoid to do that, take time to learn about the different cultures. Do your research. Take the time to learn about the people that you're going to work with. Understanding their culture You can avoid doing things that upset them or to offend them. Something else to keep in mind is that successful business professionals take responsibility for finding out about another culture before engaging a new business partner. Now, we're just managers here, you and I. So we don't really have the option of whether or not we're going to do business with this new partner. But what we can do is do our part to ensure a successful partnership with SNA. You have a role in the success. I have a role in the success. Mr. Gears has a role in the success. Everybody does. So it's important that you understand, what is your role going to be? You represent Spokes of Hope worldwide at all times. You should carry yourself in a manner that doesn't jeopardize what we're trying to do. You should make sure you understand about this cultural competence. There's going to be some training coming up. There's some new training documentation and handouts that we're going to be sharing in our upcoming meetings. Make sure that you read the information. Make sure that you understand exactly what we're trying to do and how what you do every day fits into that. Make sure that you understand how cultural competence works. You know, a good idea, a good thing that you can take away from that is to make sure that you have a good understanding of our company values and find ways to associate our values with the values of SNA. Look for commonalities that we can build on. When you find differences, talk with someone from SNA and get an understanding of why that's one of their values. This will help you build a stronger relationship. Yeah, you can tell how I'm passionate about this. I'm really excited about being a lead on this project. So I definitely am trying to talk to as many of my colleagues as I can before they come on site so that I can help you guys be prepared and also get your insight in case there are things that I may not be thinking about. Now that we've discussed these few points to kind of get you thinking about cultural competency, I'd like to issue a challenge. I challenge you to think of the information that I've just briefly talked about and speak to somebody else about it. Get more people involved in becoming culturally competent. Every single person, as I stated before, has a responsibility to be culturally competent. Will you take your responsibility seriously? Not just here at work, but in your personal life too. What will you do different to make sure that you are practicing cultural competence on a daily basis? Remember, with this upcoming partnership, there's 3 things that we really want to focus on. We want to become culturally competent. We want to do some self-reflection and think back on times when we have had to communicate with different people and work with different people, what worked well, maybe what didn't work well. And then think about your role and how you can help us to maintain a successful partnership with Society for New Americans. Again, I encourage you to talk to others about cultural competence. Research the information online, build your knowledge. The more you know, the better your position will be as we go forth into this partnership. You know, my office is just right down the hall, so if you have any other questions or if you think of anything you want to discuss it with me, even if you want to get a preview at the training materials, come on and stop by. I'm pretty free for the rest of the afternoon, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it some more. Thanks for letting me jump in your conversation. Talk to you soon.